baseball games here for the Sox, trying to win their third straight game. This is career against Dylan Cease. Byron Buxton's only seen him 5 times. Max Kepler, who sometimes can be a leadoff home run machine, has 3 home runs against Dylan in his career.
There's a look at Dylan Cease. He's out there for his 7th start. He's looking for his 3rd win. His ERA a touch over 4. That really was a product of the last time out. As you can see, the hits still under innings pitched. A lot of strikeouts, 37, more walks than he would like with 15. That's what he's going to use, that slider, which is really good. If it's popping tonight, the Twins hitters are going to be in trouble. He backs it up with a 4-seam fastball, throws his knuckle curve. Last time out, the curve wasn't quite as sharp, and the changeup not so much. So hopefully he can keep their base stealers off base. Let's check out the defense presented by UI Health. It's Andrew, Luis, and Gavin in the outfield left to right, with Jake, Tim, Elvis, and Andrew in the infield. Yasmani Grandal once again behind the plate. Dylan Cease on the hill. He's looking to get off to a fast start. And the weather, well, it's chilly, but not as chilly as it's going to be. Humidity at 61%. Keep on walking off. That would be really nice. The wind, it's a little bit of a factor. Maybe not as much as it's been, but 10 miles an hour blowing straight in, much to the advantage of the pitcher.
There's Phil Cuzzi, who's got the plate. His strike rate up to left-handers is taller than average, and then away to right-handers as well. Thanks for the round of applause, Phil. We're off and going. First inning brought to you by Toyota. And strike 1 to Max Kepler, who does have 15 career leadoff home runs. On the ground wide of first. The wind right now is east at 9, but it's been kicking up a little bit more as the day's going on.
And the best sign is 2 pitches, 2 strikes. 1 with a fastball and 2 with a curveball.
So maybe we see strike 3. Nope.
97. It was still up in the zone, so 3 pitches, 3 strikes. Might want to go up just a little bit more with one of those.
Check swing, and he did go. Strike 3.
He buried the slider low and in, and Max could not check up his swing. We'll take a look again. This is a slider, tight spin, and when you get a hit of hitters, this becomes effective. If you're behind a hitter, they just look at that pitch, they don't swing at it. The key is getting ahead, and he did throw strike 1 and strike 2.
1 down very quickly, and a first pitch swing by Jorge Polanco. This is in foul territory and on a play, strike 1. Time for tonight's live lines presented by PointsBet, and it's Dylan Cease. The over-under is 7.5 strikeouts. He's plus 175 to get the win, but the Sox are favorites in this game.
They are, and you would think that if things continue as they have been during the course of Dylan's career, he would go over 7.5.
He's got 1 in his bag already, and the 0-1 there means strike 2 very quickly. Well, you wanted to see aggressiveness.
And he's throwing strikes.
Breaking ball in the dirt, 1-2. This Twins team has been very dangerous early in the count this year. When you look at their slugging percentage with 2 strikes compared to the other situations, it's not close. And we recall that no-hitter that was broken up by Luis Arraez last September. Dylan has a history with these guys. 1-2 pitch, skied, middle infield. Tim Anderson. Gotcha, 2 down. Take a look at this. This slugging percentage by strikes for the Minnesota Twins here. They are better than league average early in the count. They're 100+ points better. When you get down to 2 strikes, nobody's great at it, but you really neutralize these bats so far.
They have a lot of aggressive bats, and so when they do get down, they have a tendency to expand their zone, which is something, as we know, the Sox have done a bit. And if you're not expanding your zone, you're going to get a good pitch to hit. If you're expanding your zone, guys are just not going to throw you anything that's hittable, because they know eventually you're going to go after it.
I wonder what the interplay is for Dylan in his mind. Do you want to get ahead? Do you want to throw strike 1 to these guys, or are you afraid they're going to attack a first pitch fastball?
Well, normally, on the first pitch of at-bats this season, 71% of the time he throws an off-speed pitch, meaning his slider, his curveball, or whatever the case may be. Now, he's thrown a couple of fastballs, and he's thrown his fastball in the zone. A curveball and a slider both out of the zone. He's behind Correa 2-0.
Ball's lined to center field. Luis Robert Jr. That's an atom ball for you. Sox lineup tonight goes like this. Tim Anderson back for the end of this homestand. He was in the lineup yesterday. He's back in today, followed by the two walk-off Andrews the last couple of games, and maybe Elvis Andrus gets you some heroics tonight. We've had the two Andrews already.
There is the starter, Louis Varland. He's on for his second start. The number is pretty good. 8 strikeouts, only 1 walk in 6 innings his first start. Sox have seen him a couple of times, and they haven't done a whole lot with him. He's 6'2", 220 out of St. Paul, Minneapolis, Minnesota.
There are cities and states in there.
Yep, he's from everywhere. He uses the cutter and the four-seam fastball. Those are the two things he relies on as far as the changeup and the slider. They're fairly interchangeable, about 17%.
You know, I know you played against him, but you may not have heard this before. They're called the Twins because they're in the Twin Cities.
Is that what it is?
Yeah, it's amazing.
I've always wondered why that was.
Yeah,
I thought they just had a proliferation of twins.
No, we did. Yeah, Taylor and Tyler Rogers.
Yeah, there you go.
So many others.
Right.
Yeah. Varland is a younger brother of another major league pitcher, Gus Varland, who pitches for Milwaukee. Louis is a year younger. They're both in the majors at the same time.
Louis throwing the ball a little harder these days. Last year when the Twins saw him, that fastball was in the low 90s. Now it's in the mid 90s. Let's check out the defense presented by UI Health. This is how Rocco Baldelli puts them out there with Larnach, Gordon, and Kepler in the outfield left to right, and Castro, Correa, Polanco, and Gallo in the infield. Ryan Jeffers has got the plate. We told you about Louis Varland.
Two and two coming. It's inside. 3 balls, 2 strikes. We saw Tim take a walk in his return to the lineup yesterday.
It's also should serve notice to some of the Sox hitters that Varland will throw that slider and try to shave off the inside corner to the right-handers.
That was just low, and a nice take from Tim Anderson. It's the first Sox walk presented by Feldco.
You can't get it in any earlier than that.
That's right. We're talking about the local products. Here are some of the notable Minnesotans, including Paul Molitor, Dave Winfield, Ken Hrbek.
No wonder they call it the Twin Cities. I don't think it has anything to do with it, does it?
No, that was a heck of a segue, though.
Louis Garland, born in St. Paul.
Indeed. There's ball 1 to Benintendi. Tim Anderson had a walk in his first 2 games of this season as well, so clearly a dedication to seeing more pitches from Tim.
And one thing to bear in mind, left field at this time of night is a bad sun field. Center field, right field, not so much. Left field could be a problem.
Almost on cue as you were saying that, Larnach had his hand to his forehead to try and shield the sun.
Yeah, I mean, he can go into a shaded area, but for the most part, you're going to get that sun right in your eyes, and it's going to create some distractions for you.
That's ball 3, and the Sox would love nothing more than to jump early on Minnesota here.
I think that's really the key. After winning a close ball game last night, you come right back tonight. If you can score a couple of runs in the first inning, it's not that you take the heart out of the team. It's just more difficult for them to come back, especially against Dylan Cease, who seems to have good stuff tonight.
3-0's a strike. 3-1 for Benintendi.
Normally in this situation, if Tim was 100%, of course he's coming back from a knee issue, he would be running. We will see how he's feeling by what happens on this 3-1 pitch.
Fouled away and never got to Jeffers. 3-2, and Tim was holding.
He was short lead, not going. It's very cold, and I don't think that Pedro wants to take a chance this early with Tim.
Yeah, 48 degrees at game time here today. 3-2 pitch into the sun field. Trevor Larnach makes the catch, and there's one away. We talked about the chase rate in the open, though, and the Sox to this point have seen 13 pitches in 2 batters, which is a different sort of feeling around this offense, and it seems like Pedro Grifol has gotten his point across on the chase rate for the collective.
Yeah, I think it's something that people don't realize. Pitch recognition is what makes good hitters good hitters. The ability to pick up the spin and just swing at pitches in the zone.
Or better pitches in the zone than that pitch, right? That's a pitch that the pitcher wants you to swing at.
On strike one, you just don't swing at that because that's a pitcher's pitch, and you want to avoid getting yourself out on pitcher's pitches.
Saw Andrew's streak as he takes a ball there, 1-1.
I'm sure one of the things Jose Castro has been talking to the hitters about is pitch recognition. Pick up the spin quickly and stay in the zone.
We and Chris Johnson, the two hitting coaches for the team, and Chris Johnson, who played in the majors for a long while, walked by me in the clubhouse on Sunday and he said, we're going to win today. It was a daring prediction as of about, let's say, 3:45, but it started this 2-game win streak, and I ran into him yesterday and he was like, see he had a feeling.
He predicted a 7-run ninth. I mean, I thought that was pretty astute of him.
Yeah, CJ was locked in. Yeah. Tim at first, and that is strike 3. So Andrew goes after a pitch above the zone. There are 2 down, and here is Eloy Jimenez getting the arms extended.
He's been hitting the ball very well. They've been base hits, but this one he got middle in. Much to his liking. He's strong enough to take it out of the ballpark. At the time, it gave the Sox a 2-1 lead.
Looks like the Sox are trying to restart the Rat Pack here.
I like that, though. It's a good look.
Great hat. Check swing. He went, says Phil Cuzzy, the plate umpire.
And Eloy wants him to look at Mark Ripperger and say, you know, did he swing? Well, if the home plate umpire notices the swing, he's not going to go for the appeal. We'll look at it from the side. Didn't look like he swung to me. I don't think that was a great call.
Well, on that look we had, Charlie Montoyo didn't love it, but Eloy says, you know what? Let me just push it to center. Tim gunning it for third, and he is in there. Runners at the corners for the Sox here in the first. 6 in a row on the hit streak for Eloy Jimenez.
It's really a great sign for this offense. This is a cutter, and Eloy just goes upstairs and takes it into center field. He's been making solid contact, and Tim runs well enough to be able to easily coast into third base. Gordon, an infielder by trade, playing the outfield, doesn't have the strongest arm around, and so runners at the corners where now Tim can score on one of those cutters that goes in the dirt.
First one, called a strike to Robert Jr. Tim wandering down the line, and Robert behind the fastball, 0-2.
Last night, a lot of these Twins pitchers were going upstairs with an 0-2 pitch. But if he does throw that cutter, that's where Tim has to have that good secondary lead.
Oh, nice stab by Jeffers.
Jeffers wanted it upstairs. That's one of the reasons why he had to react so quickly. You watch the glove. He wants it upstairs, and Farland just hangs on to it a little too long, almost throws it away.
1-2. He yanked that slider. 2 balls, 2 strikes. High fastball again.
I think it's probably a safer pitch than trying to bury one of those sliders.
Especially with the last one, huh?
Yeah.
Anderson at third, Jimenez at first, and this pitch is swatted to center field. Gordon back at the track. He doesn't have room. It's a 3-run bomb. Luis Robert Jr. and the Sox aren't cooking again. 3-0.
Well, they went to a fastball, and he couldn't get it up high enough. 420 feet puts the Sox on top 3-0 early. That is a huge lift to the ball club. Tim with that leadoff walk. We told he has a tendency to score when he gets on base to start off an inning. And Luis Robert with his 6th home run, his first home run in a while. He puts on the guard, and he puts on a fine-looking cap.
Oh, he looks the part too. I mean, he's got the stare going on.
Been a while between home runs for him, so he's got to feel really good about taking one deep. Not the easiest night, into the teeth of the wind to hit it out.
Yeah, we'll find the ball's just not going to carry very well tonight, I wouldn't imagine.
Years ago, there was a Hall of Famer who played for the Giants named Willie McCovey, played first base, very big man, and the wind was blowing straight in at Wrigley Field one day. And I said to him, nobody's hitting one out today. He said, when the big guys hit them, they go out anywhere at any time.
Guess what? One of the big guys hit one.
He's one of the big guys. Thigh-high fastball, and he took it deep. Fortunately, he hits it right at Luis Robert in center field. So stay ahead. You're going to be in good shape. Stay behind, and you've got some problems.
Yeah, with a 3-0 lead, some pitchers say that's great. I can just be a little bit more relaxed. I was doing a game with John Smoltz a couple months ago, and he said the toughest thing to do was protect an early big lead.
Unless you're careful, you have a tendency to relax. And you can't relax even with a 3-run lead, especially with 24 outs to get. So this is the second hitter in a row Dillon has fallen behind 2-0. Now in the first inning he used only 11 pitches, which is a radical departure from what he's been doing, which is a couple of innings early in the 30+ pitch mark.
Second inning, by the way, brought to you by Menards, 3-1. Where were you on the spectrum of you liked the early lead, it was uncomfortable for you?
I liked the early 10-run lead if I could get it.
I knew something like that was coming. That's called inside. It's ball 4, and Buxton has a leadoff walk.
No, I thought the early lead was advantageous, especially when you didn't walk a whole lot of people, because if you force the other team to just hit you to get those runs back, it's a lot easier to envision winning the ball game. But you can't be distracted by the early lead. It's still pitch by pitch.
That's called a strike on Larnach, and Dillon will take that.
Larnach in a key situation last night hit a towering fly ball that, I mean, he just missed. It looked like it could have gone 450 feet easily. It was a fly out in the 8th inning to end the inning with the go-ahead run on second.
Nice curveball, 0-2.
That's a whole lot better than we saw last time out. That one had the sharp break that we're used to from Dillon on that knuckle curve. Nobody hits that last one.
So here he is, as you said, 0-2, which changes Larnach's at bat. It almost hit him. So when you see a fastball like that on 0-2, what do you think as an observer?
Non-competitive pitch, and you can't afford too many of those. If you miss, you want to miss close. Show it to him. Throw it up in his eyes. Let him see it, because it's really inviting when he can see that high fastball. Can't hit it, but it's inviting.
1-2 is a fastball that he buried. 2-2. Is it mechanical when something like that happens, those last two fastballs?
It seemed to me like, now Dillon's thrown the same speeds, 96, 97 with just about everything, but that time he was trying to make the perfect pitch instead of making a pitch that was a competitive pitch.
2-2. Swing and a miss. It was a slider.
After two fastballs missing, he went to the slider, and you see where Yaz sets up. He sets up right in the middle of the plate. And what he's saying is, throw it at my glove. It's going to move. We'll let the natural movement dictate what happens, and he gets the second strikeout of the night.
And that was a strike for a long while, too, for Larnach. So here is Joey Gallo, who we told you is prone to attacking early in at-bats. Takes that, ball 1. If Gordon on deck, who homered in a pinch hit spot in the 8th last night.
So this trend is not a good one for Dillon, because He was on top of the first 2 hitters, and the last 4 hitters in a row he's fallen behind. They've done no damage yet. But you can't pitch from behind. Doesn't matter how great the stuff is.
2-0 Gallo spoils it foul and took a massive cut.
He's always been a dead pull hitter.
Look at this. This is home runs to singles. He has 2 singles. So if you're trying to go to the vending machine, you say, Joey,
yeah,
I could use a soda.
No.
Can you spot me a single?
Nope.
He doesn't have many.
Don't get any.
No.
That's why Andrew Vaughn can't stray too far off the bag with Gallo up.
2-1, blooped third base side, and Berger won't have a play. It's 2-2. Yeah, it's very clear. Joey Gallo is here to hit home runs. That's the point.
And I think what surprised a lot of people about Gallo historically was that he was an excellent outfielder, because you don't think of a pure power hitter as being an outstanding fielder, but he is that.
2-2 to Gallo, lifted third base side again. Jake Berger, foul territory. He's got out number 2. Time now for our Autos Today Fan Cam. A lot of families at the ballpark here today.
A lot of pretzels. They'll love that.
It's got to be a warm drink over there on the left. Two down. First one here, and Gordon high in the air left center. One pitch, third out, inning over. Leadoff walk, no harm done. And start moving fast. Visit rate.com to get started today.
Boy, is that of interest. I mean, one day, be great.
Just dripping with sincerity over there.
No,
the sincerity is freezing before it gets to the ground, but it's dripping.
I do like one-day closes.
You do?
I insist on that.
Well, very soon it looks as though we may have Liam Hendriks doing one-day closes once again.
That would be wonderful. He is ready to go out on a rehab, which is absolutely remarkable. He met the press today to give him somewhat of a game plan of what he plans to do, and maybe, can't give him an exact timetable, but maybe an approximate timetable.
Popped up left-hand side, Larnach on the move, and it's foul. Not a play. Yeah, Liam Hendriks, just a joy to have in the clubhouse, a tremendous closer. And if you hadn't heard, dealing with non-Hodgkin lymphoma, which he said that he may have pitched with all year last year, which is just amazing. Strike 3. Let's hear from Liam.
I never self-involved and looked into it as a why me thing. I looked at it as a why not me. I mean, as some of you may understand, I tend to have a little rosier perspective on life than Gen Pop. So that was my process behind it. Like, look, I've got this. This is my next challenge, and we started looking into ways that we can make good of this. Whether it be awareness, whether it be like any sort of donations, whether it be helping out people in similar situations. We looked at it as an opportunity to help the outside community move forward. But that was something I knew that going into it, I could never self-reflect. I could never be introverted and hold it all in and just the woe is me, that attitude. I've seen family members go through it. I've seen like you hear the stories of people going through it. You see it, how much it ravages not only the person but also the spouse. So not only was I worrying about myself and making sure that I had the right mentality, but I wanted to make sure that everybody around me knew that I was attacking this thing head on, and to not worry about me and my mental state, because I'm attacking this no matter what.
He and his wife Christy, just marvelous human beings. They've done so much in the Chicago community, and Liam has kept his sense of humor as well, because later he was surprised, he said, that he qualified as a young adult, as a cancer patient. Quote, "It means that the books I read, I'm allowed to read them still, which is great." says Liam Hendricks.
You know, it's when the day he comes back into that clubhouse and he's able to play. They've got Tim back. They got Liam back. And a lot of the heart and soul of this team will come back.
They're playing like it right now. Sox looking for 3 in a row. Welcome back, Liam, very soon.
Strong.
Wow.
Very strong. See, that is our 2 in a row bordering on 3 in a row nationwide.
I have to say, I think I know why it's been so good.
Lessons we both took in the offseason?
Never took one lesson. 1-0. It's fouled away. I think it's the southpaw. Southpaw showed up with a life-size southpaw cutout in the booth. Yeah. And now the Sox have won 2 in a row, hoping for 3.
And there he is.
Yeah.
Very enthusiastic fellow, by the way.
Oh, just thrilled to be here. Castro, a base hit. The first hit against Dylan Cease tonight.
The draft is over, but the bank is open. Football night in Chicago is dishing out rumors, predictions, and breaking news all offseason. Get your daily recap of the NFL weeknights at 6 on NBC Sports Chicago. I think that's get your daily recap of the NFL.
Yeah.
Pause.
Yeah. Dash.
Weeknights at 6 on NBC Sports Chicago. I think that's it.
People show up for the baseball, but they really adore the breakdowns of the promo writing.
I think it's something that's really necessary.
Yeah, I agree with you. Third inning brought to you by Hyundai, by the way. I do want to know who writes your segues on the promos. Because the draft is over, but the bank is open.
Yeah, I couldn't quite. Well, that's what it says, and I read to the letter.
No, you never have read a promo to the letter in your life. And how about that? What a souvenir, a memory forever. Look, it's yours.
Just don't throw it away, young man.
25 years, he'll be reading promos. Jack swing, ball in the dirt, and he didn't go. It's a ball and 2 strikes. Look at the play here. Wow.
That is pretty impressive on a cold night, or any night for that matter.
That's an amazing play. You got the child in front.
My dad's got hands.
Oh, yeah.
He's got good hands.
The at-bat is over, but the bank is open. 1 down for the Twins here in the 3rd.
Still trying to get a grasp on why that is the way it is, but there is a 96-mile-an-hour fastball, inner half. Little life on it, and Jeffers swings through it.
One down, Kepler. First pitch swing on a curveball on the first pitch from Dylan Cease.
Not a bad idea, as he's mixing in all of his pitches.
How about this tweet from Chuck Garfien earlier? The White Sox are 17-3 in their last 20 dog days.
I would say bring him here every game.
Well, you would say that anyway.
Yeah. Well, with that kind of success.
Yeah. It's an .850 winning percentage. There goes Castro.
Well, it's really good that that one was fouled off, because he had that one stolen easily. You might remember him with the Detroit Tigers. We will see them in a little bit.
We'll be in Detroit at the end of the month. Tigers are leading the Mets 5-1, and
that was Max Scherzer on the hill for the Mets.
Still is, but he's probably not a happy camper. 1-2 change. Castro got caught up, and the throw was late.
Well, Yaz couldn't get the throw off. Had he just gotten it off initially, he was hung out to dry. We'll watch it again. Castro goes out. He's going to steal. And look, the batter is entitled to the batter's box, and Yaz couldn't get an angle to make the throw. You see the skid marks. Then he comes back. Had plenty of time to get him, but they do not.
That ball to center field. Here's Luis Robert Jr. coasting in to make the catch, and 2 down. First. Oh, wow, that was very close.
Didn't miss him by much. That was a good quick move. Charlie Montoyo calling to say you want to take another look at it, and now the hand is back in just ahead of the tag.
Hot fastball right to the corner on Polanco.
After the road trip we're going on, which is Cincinnati and Kansas City, we will go to Cleveland and Detroit for a 7-game road trip.
Just like old times, a tour of the AL Central.
Yeah. We come back and it's 3 against Houston, and then the Guardians, and then the Kansas City. So we'll be seeing a lot of the Royals in a short period of time.
Kansas City 7-23 entering play today. Into right field, a base hit for Polanco. Castro motors to third, and the Twins have 2 runners on with 2 out, and Correa coming up.
We'll watch it again, and this is a slider, and as you can see, it doesn't have the intended bite on it. This one just stayed over the middle of the plate. Polanco, who's hitting over 300 this year, takes it into right field, and 2 on, 2 out.
For the guy who has the hardest hit baseball of the day so far, 108.5 off Correa's bat on the line out in the first. That was on a 2-0 pitch. Strike 1 this time.
Threaded the needle on the outside corner. Correa had the hardest time finding a place to play. He had agreed to contracts worth $350 million and then $300 million. Then he had to settle for 2.
$200 million to be clear. Not,
yeah. Settle for 200. I mean,
he's gonna be okay.
Yeah. No tag days for him. You can certainly make a living on that. But apparently the Twins saw something they liked as opposed to the Mets and the Giants.
Well, and he's such an advanced thinker about hitting and advanced stats and metrics and things like that. He is, from everything I've heard, great teammate.
But we also saw that defensively he's pretty good. Got a tremendous arm at shortstop.
Two on, 2 out, 2-1. That's a strike. Pretty much a carbon copy of the first one.
That one actually had a little more of the plate.
Two and 2. Curveball he laid off. 3-2. You got Buxton next. Twins have forced Dylan Cease into the Icarus routine here in the third. 3-2 on the ground, third base, and past. Polanco to third. He's waved around. There will be no throw to the plate, and Carlos Correa worked the count to 3-2 and drove in a pair.
There's a breaking ball, and he just reaches out, takes it right down the line. Jake Burger is close, but cannot make the play. And when you go back and you look at the little things in the game, the plays you don't make, invariably, and it looked like it was harmless at the time, but they had a chance to take Castro off first base, and they weren't able to do it, and it's cost 2 runs in this inning.
It's a great point. Byron Buxton, first pitch hunting in the air, center field and deep, and that ricochets off the wall to tie the ball game on an RBI double for Buxton. We told you early in counts they're very dangerous, and Minnesota has the 3 back.
This one almost snuck out of the park. It's a first ball fastball, and Buxton reaches out. This is on the outside corner. This is not a bad pitch, but to a first ball fastball hitter, this is exactly what he's looking for.
He thought it was gone, and then he realized it was not.
It's the only his only second run batted in on the road this year. So he's done all of his damage at home to this point. That's 18 overall.
We showed you yesterday Byron Buxton's percentage of games played by season. He's at about 90% of the Twins games this year, and that is why he's been DHing. Yes, he's of great value in center, but they went and they got Michael A. Taylor to play center field most days, and he is an outstanding center fielder.
And they don't lose much defensively, but they really have to have Buxton's bat in the lineup.
You look at any metric, OPS, weighted runs created plus, the Twins are number 2 in terms of production from the DH position of any team in Major League Baseball. Only Tampa Bay has gotten more from its DHs.
That's because almost a full-time DH is Buxton.
And it's, I mean, you don't want to stow away a good fielder there, but it's an important position to man in a powerful way every day now that everybody's got one.
It's also not an easy thing to do, because especially with guys who are used to playing every day and contributing on both sides of the ball, it's hard when they're youngish to make him a full-time DH.
That foul ball went off the backstop and then ricocheted through the legs of Joey Gallo on deck.
We'll watch it again. Yep. Look at that.
He looked like a windmill at a mini golf course. 1-2. Long inning here for Dylan Cease.
.26 pitches this inning, so a very good first at 11, an okay second at 16. This is labor intensive.
1-2, and it is done with the slider, but Minnesota has come back in the game. He's 3-3 Minnesota and the Sox. See cheese.
Okay.
No, that's not how.
Oh
no, we got to work on it.
Okay.
We got to workshop it. Now everybody's texting each other the picture.
There you go. Get some free pub at the ballpark.
Hey, it's a base hit to right for Tim Anderson. Are you surprised?
Now that is vintage. If you're going to take one base hit from Tim Anderson, this is vintage Tim Anderson. He goes up there looking the other way. He gets one that uses too much of the plate and takes it to right field. Great way to start it off. And the Sox trying to regain the lead.
And Benintendi takes a changeup that lost its way. Ball 1. Cleveland's taking the lead on the Yankees 2-0. I believe that's Shane Bieber tonight.
It is.
He's given up 1 hit through 3 to this point. Yeah, the Bronx with the Yankees coming into today in last place, 16-15.
They also have experienced the injury bug. and finding it hard to win.
Into left, Trevor Larnach.
You get Stanton and Judge out of your lineup at the same time, it takes away a whole lot of thunder from you.
It does. It does indeed. Yeah, they got Anthony Rizzo third, DJ LeMahieu fourth in the lineup. Anthony Volpe, the rookie, is leading off tonight once again for the Yankees. One down for Vaughn.
Tim looked like he was ready to run there. At least took a very good aggressive first step, then broke it down.
So Andrew Vaughn had the game winner on Sunday in walk-off fashion, and then Tuesday Benintendi the game-winning walk-off. The Sox record for consecutive walk-offs was July 19th through the 21st of 1919. 4 straight walk-off wins. This one bounces away and pinballs all the way toward the dugout, and this one rolls out of play. So it will lead to one base. Tim will have to go back to second. He was trying to argue that
he wanted to go to third, but
just keep on running.
Yeah, the ball was, he felt alive for a while. One hop and right off the mask. And not much you can do, because a catcher is taught on the hop you have to keep your face down. If you don't keep your face down, you could get one in the throat, and that is awful.
Yeah, it's truly one of the very last things you'd want, is there's a swing and a miss on maybe his best cutter of the day.
That was a good one. That one looked like a strike leaving his hand and then moved well out of the zone.
Multiple people have asked about Andrew Vaughn and the black eye he has, and I wouldn't be surprised if he got it in the celebration the other day.
Would very well have.
I don't know that for a fact, but it's a possibility. 3-2. In the air, right field side. Kepler on the run, still coming, and he's not going to have a play. And now this. Host your group from a view like no other in the CIBC Fan Deck. Located in center field, the Fan Deck sits above the field, providing an expansive view of the entire field and stadium. Enjoy a customizable food and beverage package right now. Visit whitesox.com/fandeck or call 312-674-1000 for more info. That's what it looks like. You been?
I've been to every nook and cranny in this ballpark.
Just covered the final cranny.
Yep.
On the ground to shortstop. Is there a play at third? The answer is no. Correa to first. So a wild pitch ground ball combo gets a runner to third with 2 out.
One of the places I've been to is the patio. Manned by the Bertucci's, Bobby and family, who will bring up some tasty treats for us tomorrow.
See, that sounds great.
Yeah.
That was called a ball, and I think Jeffers thought it was going to be a strike, as Eloy hoping to get another home run in a cease start.
16 of them.
Came over from the Cubs together as he's ahead 2 balls, no strikes.
He also has a lot of Lopey home runs, and Lopey didn't start that many games, so
yeah,
he was pretty hot when Ronaldo went to the mound.
Lopey long balls. We're going for alliteration.
Could very well be.
Lopey taters. Lopey bombs. 2-0, swing and a miss, 2-1. Two-1. Fly ball, center field. Gordon racing in, and he did find the ball at the right time.
Yeah, he took a step back and then was a little tardy, but he's got makeup speed, and he was able to end the inning.
the park in a 3-3 tie. The Sox and Twins just can't quit each other right now. It's close game after close game after close game.
Well, it shows you, even though the Twins have the lead in the division, there's not that much difference between a lot of these teams.
So I know you were wondering, I can see it in your eyes, Jason, what are the most extra inning games between two teams in one season? I know you were thinking it.
14.
It's a lot. I think you may have
13.
overestimated. That's still a lot.
12.
Okay, that's another number that's not correct.
8.
Correct.
There you go.
8.
I knew I could get it.
Yeah, I had it all the way. 8. In 1943, the Browns and the Red Sox. 1942, the Cubs and the Reds. Both sets of teams played 8 extra inning games in one season. Could we get there? Maybe.
Maybe. They won't quite go as long as they used to go, however.
No, and we were talking about that a little bit before the game. These extra inning games, you really are playing for 1 or 2 extra innings with the runner at second base.
That's it. And when you're on the road, you better try for multiple runs on the road. At home, 1 run is not a bad strategy. Let the guy over and try to win the game.
Yeah, if the visitors don't score, getting that guy to third at most costs seems like a really good idea. As the road team, we said it last night, you pretty much have to score the run.
Yeah, if you're going to play an extra inning game on the road, I'm not a big proponent in that bunt that gets him to third.
Ground ball first base, rolling near the bag and fair. Here's your Sox math question for today. Hashtag Sox math. First correct answer wins a prize of Steve's choosing. Take the number of runs the Sox scored after the 6th inning last night, multiplied by the number of innings a game lasted, plus the number of position players who played for the Sox in the game, minus the jersey number of the player who had the game-winning hit.
It's a good one.
Should be able to suss that out. Have you done some sussing today?
No.
You haven't sussed anything out?
No. I knew what it was. I would, though.
Things like thinking.
No.
Or using logic. Well, that's 1-0 pitch. Hit in the air right field. Sheets is back at the track, at the wall. And Nick Gordon has 2 homers in 2 days.
Last night he had his first pinch hit ever, and that was a home run to tie up the ball game. And this is just his 2nd home run of the year, his 4th run batted in. And he takes it into the bullpen. Watch it again, our 4th home run replay. It's a slider. And he got most of it.
Yeah, it was enough. And there is the rod and reel of the vest of the land of 10,000 rakes. Another curveball that drops into Castro. Swing and a miss. 2 balls, 2 strikes on Castro. Switch hitters. So it's 6 guys batting left-handed in the lineup against Cease today.
I think that makes it very difficult for right-handers to saw their way through these lineups.
Bloop short center field. Anderson back. Robert in. Tim has to reach up and make the catch, and a nice one at that.
Well, that's a really good play. Because number 1, there's a physical aspect of just going out to get it, looking over your shoulder and making the catch. And number 2, the psychological aspect of you don't want anybody to run into you. So Tim, who's very good on pop-ups, he goes out, he takes a look at Luis, realizing it's going to be an easier play for him. It's not an easy play anyway, but he calls for it, tells Luis to stay away. I'll make this play, and he does just that.
Really nicely done. There's strike 1 to Jeffers, who struck out on 3 pitches back in the 3rd. count 0-2 here.
That play by Tim is a difficult play to make.
Especially if you think the center fielder might actually have a play on it, right?
I think Luis, left to his own devices, maybe makes that play. However, it was a short fly ball being knocked down by the wind, blowing it back toward the infield, and Tim went out and said, I think I can handle this one.
1-2 for Jeffers. 72 pitches for Cease through 3 2/3 to this point. Seems a little frustrated with his slider tonight, Steve.
It doesn't have the usual bite that we've seen at other times, and if in order to throw a great breaking pitch, you have to have really good feeling in your hands, and it's a very cold night again here.
3-2 missed with a fastball, and it's a 9-hitter walk. Jeffers takes ball 4, and Kepler's coming up.
Getting on top 0-2 and then losing the hitter is very frustrating for any pitcher. Frustrating for Ethan Katz, certainly. And it piles up the pitches.
Want to know for Kepler. One's a little tall as well. 2 balls, no strikes. So he's thrown 9 pitches since the second out. Could have been out of the inning, possibly right around 70 pitches. Now you're about to touch 80 as that ball gets away from Grandal, and Jeffers takes second.
We'll take a look at a pass ball. There it is, and it gets past.
And that's ball 4. Steve, Chris Kamka, I just asked him about this, and he relayed it to me. 9-hitter on base percentage this year. The top 4 teams in Major League Baseball allowing the highest on base percentage to 9-hitters are Oakland, Colorado, St. Louis, and the Sox. All teams that have had a struggle of a start to this season.
Well, certainly the Sox thought things would go a little bit better. St. Louis certainly thought things would go a bit better. But losing 9 hitters and then rolling around to the leadoff hitter makes it really difficult. Because it serves dual purpose. Number one, you turn over the lineup more. That's a given. And number two, that leadoff hitter usually is a pretty good hitter. And the 9th hitter is there for a reason. When you don't get him, it usually causes you problems, and you get pitch counts that become unmanageable at an early rate. And then you got to go to your bullpen, and that never is a great idea.
I'm glad you broke that down, because it really is a threefold cost when the 9-hitter is getting on. And that's a 1-hopper. Chested down by Grandal. Throw to third is waiting. He is out. Jeffers is down, and the inning is over.
And Jeffers knows that could be as bad a base running play as you'll see. You never make the third out at third. You're a catcher.
To see here, the Minnesota Twins just challenged the ruling at third on the caught stealing of Ryan Jeffers, and to our look, and you'll see it right here, it looked like it might have been safe, but instead the call is officially standing, and so they're gonna stay with the out call.
Well, the ball beat him by plenty. The call by Dan Bellino, local product Dan Bellino. And Minnesota loses its challenge.
I guess you just can't tell if he got him on the arm here. Oh, you know what?
Right there, the tag right before the hand got there.
Maybe.
Or simultaneously. But maybe not enough evidence to overturn.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, that's the look, and we're right on it. And you know what? On that look, I would say Stans is the right call, wouldn't you?
Yep, looks like you got him. And one way or the other, it's out of the inning. But the Sox give up the lead on the home run by Gordon. Time now for the Xfinity Mobile high-speed action, and it's the home run by Luis Robert in the first inning. After an Anderson walk, an Eloy base hit, then the 3-run homer. 420 feet. All was beautiful then. The Sox were up 3-0. And Minnesota has come roaring back, so it's time to put some runs up.
That sounds pretty good. So
You
Minnesota
would certainly think.
Yeah, that's right. So Minnesota, they get the home run from Gordon. His second in as many days. We told you they're a top 10 home run hitting team.
Yep.
That's a lot of their offense. And the good news is the home run came before the walks. Now the first pitch here is a strike to Luis Robert Jr. There is Gordon, who really was not hot at the beginning of the season. And there were some questions about his bat after a great finish last year. His line to right field, and Robert is out. Time now for a message from Powering Chicago.
Who powers Chicago? We do. Powering Chicago's members consistently help create better construction, better careers, and better communities. Powering Chicago. IBEW Local 134, NECA, Chicago.
He's Steve Stone. I'm Jason Benetti. We are very happy to have you along once again for White Sox baseball. How about a Gavin Sheets long ball?
That would look awfully good. Outfield playing straight away, and Gordon is very deep in center field.
Scouting report from local product Corey Provis about Twins local product Louis Varland was that he throws the ball very quickly, and that scout was right.
Yeah, he says that he just gets it, throws it, and does not mess around too much.
How about a base hit along the old dusty trail for Gavin Sheets, a 1-out single.
You would think this year, with the lack of shift, that the BABIP would be going up across the board, because more ground balls will get through than got through the last few years. This might be an example of it. Gavin is noted as a pull hitter, so you would think you'd see 3 on the right side with last year's defensive models, but that is through.
And he's on for Yaz, who should also be the beneficiary of the new rules.
Very much so, especially a lot of the line drives that he hit, with the second baseman playing in short right field and taking away base hits.
As of yesterday, the BABIP in the league across the board was up 15 points.
That's a big
year
number.
over year.
That's
yeah,
a big number.
Change up from Varland. We mentioned his brother Gus, who's in the majors with the Brewers. Louis, noting that Gus was available in the Rule 5 draft from the Dodgers, said to his boss at the Twins, or at least some folks around the organization, as that's a line drive to left field and down for a hit. Grandal a single, Sheets to second, and 2 on with 1 out for Berger. And here are the brothers Varland. Louis tried to get Gus drafted in the Rule 5 by Minnesota. They didn't take him. The Brewers took him 5 picks later, and he's with Milwaukee now.
Well, Wisconsin's awfully close. I mean, you could almost make a case for him being a local product.
Yeah, 1 state over. Local-ish.
But not much.
No.
No.
They were wearing Concordia St. Paul gear, by the way, at school they went to, as the crowd did not like the strike to Berger.
Might have been a touch low.
Went after a changeup, 0-2.
That last pitch usually doesn't work. A high changeup from a right-hand pitcher to a right-hand hitter normally gets hit. That one did not.
Took an 0-2 fastball for strike 3.
Find your next show to binge watch with NBC Chicago original documentaries. Real stories about crime, sports, scandals, and more. All from right here in Chicago. Available now on your local streaming platforms and NBCChicago.com.
Elvis Andrus, 2 on, 2 out. Ball 1. Now see if the Sox can flip over the lineup here.
Just a little base hit, maybe to right field. The right side is open. Polanco is playing fairly close to second. He's in charge of holding Sheets close.
Just missed outside. 2-1.
Certainly wouldn't mind seeing Tim Anderson come up this inning.
That is going to happen. Bases loaded. 2 out.
Second walk issued by Varland. This ball in off the plate. Jeffers tries to do what he can, but it's well inside. Pete Mackey out to the mound as Varland now has got the bases loaded.
And the Sox would love to pay off that same thing that we saw in the top of the 4th crop up. Didn't hurt walking the 9-hitter.
Ethan Katz talking with Dylan Cease. You know, one of the things he addresses is strike 1, because that's always the case. You set up a defensive at bat or an offensive bat depending on that first pitch.
How aggressive is Tim here?
I think you got to go up there, and you would think the first pitch would be away.
Oh boy, it was a cutter, middle away.
If Varland left to his own devices is going to use middle out to just about everybody. He goes in on occasion, but he feels much more comfortable glove side. That is a tendency that Tim can exploit here.
Base hit right field. Tim Anderson comes through. 1 runs home. Throw coming to the plate is in time. Grandal is out. The Sox have tied the game, and we will go to the 5th and another close one. Time now. Swing in the bottom of the 4th inning. Hanser Alberto is in. It looked like that high changeup.
Yeah, I think that was it. It's a high change, and now right there he feels something. You can tell he's grabbing his side. That's usually in the position of an oblique, and if that's the case, that isn't a good thing for Jake or for the ball club.
No, his power has been a big boon to this team, and Jake Burger talking to Josh Fallon and walking down into the clubhouse during the break. So we're tied again, and Jorge Polanco with a first pitch swing, vaulting a ball to left. Benintendi back with the mask, which served him well yesterday, and there's out number 1. 2 Sox math winner for today. It's not at Steve Stone once again somehow. 3 runs after the 6th inning. 10-inning ball game. 13 position players. Everybody got in who was a position player, and then Benintendi had the game-winning hit. So 20. Congratulations to CU4 Ab Ear.
That's not a first-time winner.
No. Did I read that right?
Oh, yeah.
Fifth Inning brought to you by GMC. We are professional grade.
Did I say that enthusiastically enough?
Yeah, again, the sarcasm. Stalactites are very much in the booth. As there's a timeout by Correa on 1 strike.
And normally you don't see that, but you can't take as much time with nobody on base, so you're not going to be able to freeze them all that much. Although just standing there, you can be frozen tonight.
That is very true. 0-1 curveball, strike 2, 0-2 on Correa, who started the Twins party tonight with a 2-run double in the 3rd. Swing and a miss. He was all caught up in pitch selection there. Slider gets strike 3.
Catch every pitch with the fastest internet from Xfinity, with a reliable connection you can count on in the clutch even during peak hours. The next generation Xfinity 10G network.
What are your peak hours?
I would say between the hours of 4 and 5 in the morning.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah.
You do your best work then?
Absolutely.
What, you're just up studying?
Yes.
You're looking at spray charts?
That's when I get up for the second time and figure I'm not falling back to sleep, so I'll wander around for a while.
So if you're in the city and you see Steve just wandering, you'll know that's peak time, as it's 0-2 on Byron Buxton, who doubled in a run back in the 3rd.
Looks like Dylan has made an adjustment to that knuckle curveball, because the last 2 he's thrown have been brilliant.
Is it as simple as something in the dugout between innings?
Yeah, I think Ethan Katz probably noticed something and said to him, look, might want to try this, or maybe he's just feeling looser.
I think the fans thought Phil Cuzzi was getting ready to call strike 3.
Yeah, that one wasn't that close. You see it there. He missed by a bit.
2-2 coming. On the ground, foul of 3rd. So Andrew Vaughn was over near the line. Now he moseys over off the bag at first. That is upstairs. It's 3-2 for Buxton. Would you agree that the curveballs look better than the slider tonight?
Very much so. Yeah, his slider has not been its usual snappy self.
You have, however. 3-2 for Buxton. And he missed. He went slider. Buxton takes a 2-out walk, and he might be a threat to run here. Bring your group out to a White Sox game and receive specially priced tickets along with a great experience. Private areas for corporate outings, family get-togethers, and more. For more information, visit whitesox.com/groups.
You don't see Dylan change expression too much on the mound. He was very aggravated at himself that last at bat.
Throw to first. He missed a couple times the sliders there.
That was not a good throw to first base, because first of all, Buxton was in the process of putting on his glove to slide. That's number 1. Number 2, he had a very short lead, and you use one of your disengagements.
Still a small lead, and the first pitch is outside, ball 1.
Aaron Bummer loosening in the pen.
And here comes Yaz.
Look, he's undoubtedly killing some time, because you got Larnach and Gallo and Gordon coming up. So the left-hand part of their batting order is coming up. And Larnach is the start of that.
They have 4 right-handers on the bench, including Miranda and Taylor, Christian Vasquez, and then Donovan Solano as well, who we saw in the lineup quite a bit in the first series with all the injuries.
He was pretty good.
Yeah.
I mean, he had a good series.
Veteran presence in his mid-30s, Donovan Solano. There's a 26-year-old Larnach. Buxton at first. It's a high fastball, 2-0. 2-1 on Trevor Larnach.
Well, so far looking over at Buxton, he has not taken one lead, which would indicate he is ready to steal. So you have to keep a close eye on him to see if he gets another step. That is not a big lead at first. That's not a runner's lead.
He did steal second last night. 2-1. He holds again, and that is a swing and a miss. 2-2 for Larnach. There goes Buxton. Pitch was high, throw is high. Tim knocks it down, keeps it on the infield. A stolen base for Buxton, his second of the series.
Got a little bit more on the lead, but not much more. He stole that with a short lead, and he is head first into second base. Second stolen base in the series. As you can see, he's starting to feel a whole lot better. 2 in the first 26, 4 of the last 5 with a bag.
They came into the series with 4 steals all year. That number is about to grow as this is fouled away. Wrenched it left. Could be the final batter tonight for Dylan Cease here.
Well, after 27 pitches the first 2 innings, the next 3 innings have been very tiresome.
About 70 pitches the next 3 innings. Tied at 4. Cease gets a swing and miss. He surprised him with a slider to end the inning. And he might be thinking he's off here in the 5th inning. A lot of time left in this ball game. In a 4-4 tie, and the first pitch is a cutter for a strike from Varland. Dylan Cease has the jacket on in the dugout. There's a swing and a miss, a fluttering changeup. Around Major League Baseball, Cleveland and the Yankees are tied at 2 in the 7th. The Yankees have come back with 2 runs in the 5th. Willie Calhoun has homered, and so has Jake Bowers. Strike 3 called, outside corner, 1 down. Let's go to the studio, see what's cooking for Chuck and Ozzie and Frank, all 3 together. How about that?
It's about time getting you guys in the studio together. My goodness, it took till May to do it.
Like I said, the band is back.
The band is back together. We got to get this White Sox team a win here tonight. I like the 3-0 lead, but Cease didn't have his stuff tonight.
Not yet, but still battle. The longest can hold those guys there, they got to have a good chance to win it. And where are the Twins getting all this pitching from? I mean, it's back-to-back nights with guys that really can pitch. Now it's, 4-4 ball game. Offenses have shown up, so we're going to have a hell of a finish for tonight, I'm sure.
All right. How about another walk-off? That'd be good. Or maybe the Sox don't even need a walk-off tonight.
They love the win. Who cares?
Yeah.
Hey, I'm with you. No matter how it happens, just let it happen, right?
A win is a win is a win.
And we talked about it last night. The Twins are getting much more length from their starting pitching this year than last year.
Well, they're pretty happy with the rotation. I mean, Sonny Gray has thrown unbelievably well. The bullpen is going now. Emilio Pagan, we've seen him at the tail end of a lot of games, and now he's been used in the middle. So I think that was one of the real big changes to the Twin team. They're very happy with their starting rotation.
Pablo Lopez is a big piece of that, just signing a contract extension.
And they just called back Bailey Ober, who's always thrown well against the Sox. He is back and going to be part of the rotation for the foreseeable future.
Up the middle, off the mound, into center field. Big skip into center, and Vaughn has a 1-out single.
Four-seam fastball, and Andrew just goes down and gets it.
Did that hit the mound? Looked like it hit the mound, or maybe just took a big bounce on the infield. Oh,
Yeah,
it did.
hit the mound, still not playable. Hit the mound, doesn't hit the mound. Andrew hits him hard.
7-game hit streak for Andrew Vaughn. I thought Chris Withers picked all the replays that didn't show the ball bouncing because I was wrong.
No. Absolutely, you were right on the money.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It hit the mound. No balls and a strike on Eloy Jimenez. Vaughn at first. Yeah, that's a breaking ball in the dirt. 1 ball, 1 strike. We hadn't heard from Withers for a while, but
no,
he's back now.
Nice to know he's still there.
Still there?
Still there. Both bullpens up and going.
Swing and a miss on that cutter. 1 ball and 2 strikes.
Sox would love to leave Varland with a token of their appreciation for his performance by allowing him to leave this game behind.
An interesting definition of appreciation. 1-2 is away. 2 balls, 2 strikes.
What is amazing is the season series between these two teams. There's not much to choose from, which is why you keep having these wonderful endings.
Changeup, same-handed changeup, strike 3, 2 down. It has been a great season series. By the way, celebrate Mother's Day with us at the ballpark Sunday, May 14th. It's the Sox and the Astros at 1:10 p.m. and the first 20,000 of you get a White Sox belt bag presented by Rush, a proud supporter of breast cancer awareness. To purchase tickets, visit whitesox.com/promos.
Rocco Baldelli knows that Luis Robert's been up twice. 3-run homer and a line drive rocket to right field. So there goes Varland. In comes Pagan. Bank at Halstead and Pershing, where every client has their own banker. Lakeside Bank, it's about time. Emilio Pagan comes on. On for the 9th time. His ERA a high one at 6.30. Doesn't walk too many guys, just 2 in 10 innings. But you can see left-handers have really hurt him. And so Rocco Baldelli brings him in to face a right-hander, and Luis Robert has tattooed a couple of baseballs.
The cutter that Pagan throws, opponents slugged it at a 698 clip last season. He throws it 37% of the time. It has not been the same success this year, but that's where he got hurt last year. Vaughn at first, and a first pitch 4-seamer, ball 1. Luis has a home run against Pagan. High in the air, first base side, foul territory, and this reaches the seats. 1 ball, 1 strike. There was a time where we very likely wouldn't have seen that pitching change. It would have been, I want to get him the win. I want him to go 5 innings, all of that. We're in a different spot pitching wise and pitcher choice wise.
Well, I also think that with 13 pitchers, certainly you're going to make some moves, but also he's a product of the 2 times he faced him tonight, and he crushed 2 baseballs against him.
Yeah, I'm just saying, I think some managers maybe 40 years ago would have said, no matter what, like, oh, he'll get him out or he won't.
Give him the opportunity to at least win the game. If your team comes in, scores a couple of runs, then he goes 5, then he can be aligned for the win, but not so these days.
And just different measuring stick for pitchers nowadays. That doesn't make it good or bad, one or the other.
Just the way it is. Guys are going shorter. And that whole adage of go as hard as you can, as long as you can, is playing out more now than it probably ever has in the history of this game.
2-2. Outside 3-2. Gavin Sheets is next, and for Pagan, whatever you got in the tank right now for batter number 1 of your day, you're going to throw here.
So if he likes his cutter, it's a good time for it. Let's see if Luis will get one in the zone.
There's a 4-seamer, and it was hittable.
Right down the middle. He fouled it straight back. This is a young man with so much talent, it's astonishing. All he's got to do is bring it out on a daily or nightly basis, and this lineup, along with Eloy starting to hit the ball really well, this lineup starts to look a whole lot better. You got Tim at the top. And this team will start scoring runs like they did early in the season when everybody was assembled.
6 4-seam fastballs, and this is a cutter, cold strike 3. It was very close, and the inning's over. Luis Robert Jr. does not like it at all. Phil Cuzzi said it was good enough. Really close.
There's the cutter. He wants to throw it away. He doesn't, and he gets the benefit of the call. Luis can't believe it. It does have a tiny. Wasn't as sharp as he's been. It started off. He had really good stuff through 2, and then the inning started to elongate. He had 6 strikeouts. And as you can see, that slider was his main weapon. We get a new pitcher coming in the ball game. It is Aaron Bummer on for the 14th time. His ERA is up there.
Twins got him for 2 runs back on April the 12th. He got 2 outs in April's 10th day, as Solano's going to pinch hit here for Joey Gallo, which is interesting because career-wise, Gallo, his splits are actually not gigantic. Slugging percentage just 15 points lower or so against lefties and righties, but Solano will bat, and there's strike 1. Sixth inning brought to you by the Illinois Lottery. One ball, 1 strike. Miranda's grabbed a bat as well to hit for Gordon. It's a chopper to third base side. Alberto on the charge, little bobble, and he just beat him.
Well, that is really close at first base, and that last bobble almost cost him the bag. Solano could not beat it out. Hanser was able to make the play, but not without some tense moments. He smothers a short hop. That's good. Can't get the throw off balance. Gets it there just in the nick of time.
So 1 gone. You know, this is interesting. Rocco Baldelli, Hanser replaying it in his mind. Rocco Baldelli is bringing in his right-handed bats. The Sox have only 1 more left-hander in the bullpen.
I mean, they're loaded with right-handers, so this plays right into the Sox hands if they can pick up the lead late.
Taking out a dangerous guy in Gallo, who was 0 for 2, but Miranda will hit for Gordon, who's homered twice in the series.
I'm happy to see Gordon out.
It's interesting. If this was the 7th or the 8th inning, you definitely. But these guys are going to hit again, and they're going to face a right-hander.
I would think they're going to face a right-hander for sure.
Yeah, and Sammy Peralta is up from AAA. And he's in the bullpen, certainly, but he's not reputedly, because he's not been here, a high leverage guy for Pedro.
No, and he is loaded with right-handers like Gregory Santos, who's had a wonderful run out of the bullpen.
One ball and 2 strikes on Miranda. The MLB Ballpark app will complete your next visit to Guaranteed Rate Field. Buy and manage game tickets, redeem offers, access exclusive content, and much more. Download the MLB Ballpark app today. 1-2. Fouled off the net. And time called for a moment. Miranda has waved for time off the foul ball, so he gets another couple seconds to himself.
His one and only disengagement.
1-2. Moon watching over another tense ball game. Smoked foul. There is that glowing orb in the sky, taking it all in. Is that a full moon?
I would say it's knocking at the door.
Swing and a miss. Changeup struck him out, and 2 gone.
We don't see a whole lot of changeups from Aaron, and that was a great spot for it. He had a guy fouling off everything he threw, went to the changeup, got some good movement late, and got the strikeout.
First pitch down low to Willie Castro. Two and 0 for Castro. Twins now have 2 guys left on the bench, Michael A. Taylor, Christian Vasquez. Twins come in 17 and 13, 8 clear of the Sox in the division. 3 ahead of Cleveland, who's in a tight one with the Yankees.
How about those Tigers? They're on the verge of sweeping the Mets in a doubleheader. And to do that, they had to get by Scherzer in the nightcap after winning the first of 2, 6-5. They're leading 8-1 in the top of the 9th inning.
That's a wow, certainly, and that is ball 4. It's a 2-out walk to the 8-hitter Castro.
So the question is now, and I think that's been answered, Aaron Bummer's not going to be around to face Jeffers.
So his night's done.
Here's a good angle. Gregory Santos coming in the game. He's our Lakeside Bank call to the pen. On for the 15th time. He's got a hold. He also has a 1.76 ERA, which has been magnificent. And he will inherit Castro at first base. He is a stolen base threat.
Couple of steps off the bag for Castro. He was measuring him, and that's called ball 1 to Jeffers, who walked back in the 4th. Max Kepler is next. There goes Castro. Throw down to second base is in time. Nice tag.
Well, Castro says he didn't get him, but it looked to me like he might have come off the bag.
And they don't have a challenge anyway.
They do not have a challenge.
He can wait there all he wants. It's cold down.
The challenge was lost early.
Working on your French?
Yes. Au revoir, boys.
Ooh. Go to break. No choice. 4 Twins and Sox. And off we go. First pitch here called strike 1 to Gavin Sheets. We have wholesale changes defensively.
Pretty close to it.
Here they are. Solano at first. Miranda moves to third. And Willie Castro, who was on the infield, now is out there in center. You see him in the corner there. There he is. Second shot was 2 for the price of 1. 0-2 is a 1-hopper. Ties galore in the Central tonight. Cleveland and the Yankees tied at 2 in the 8th. Shane Bieber made it through 7. See if he comes out for the 8th. 2-2 for Sheets. And the Royals are leading tonight. They're up on Baltimore 3-0 in the 7th at the Big K.
St. Louis, which was down in the game to the Angels, has taken the lead 4-3.
It's against Shohei Ohtani, I think, tonight. How about that? Strike 3, a splitter from Pagan. Celebrate Cinco de Mayo all week long with our Cinco de Mayo flash sale presented by Modelo. From now until May 5th, White Sox tickets start at $5.05 for select matchups. Don't wait. The offer ends soon. To purchase your tickets, go to whitesox.com/flash sale. One down for Grandal. That is a base hit. Slice to center. He's 2 for 3.
Didn't wait around very long. He got a fastball. It's pretty much down the middle, and he takes it pretty much back up the middle. So that represents a go-ahead run.
So here comes Hanser Alberto, who's in for Jake Burger, who left after an awkward swing. Left side discomfort right now is what they're saying about Jake Burger. He'll be further evaluated.
Yeah, that normally is not a real good thing, but we're hoping for the best. He's leading the team in home runs with 7.
On the ground at third base, Miranda to second to get 1. First safe.
Like Hanser was helping Mark Ripperger with that call. Miranda takes a long time to get the ball to second. Polanco gets it away as quickly as he can, but there's Hanser going, you know what, Mark, I'm helping you here. I'm hustling. Oh, yes, definitely safe at first.
So he's on, 2 out. First pitch to Elvis is strike 1. A 4-4 tie after each team scored in the 4th. 1-1. Shohei Ohtani has allowed 4 earned runs. He struck out 10 though in 4 innings.
I suppose you think that's good.
I think it's fine. Little tapper back to Pagan. Inning over to the 7th. But nobody's a prohibitive favorite, you could say.
Not yet.
Yeah, it means you'd have to pay $125 to win 100 if you're betting on the Twins. For the Sox, pay $105 to win 100. Ryan Jeffers was up when we last spoke about the Twins offense. There was a caught stealing that finished that mission. And strike 1 to Jeffers. Gregory Santos got that final out on the caught stealing. And this is a ground ball with enough pace to get by Elvis Andrus. And the 9-hitter Jeffers, the leadoff man on.
First hit of the night for Jeffers, who's now 1 for 2. He got a fastball. He got it away. And just by a diving Elvis.
Gregory wants a new baseball. He's got one. So here is Max Kepler, who's got 2 walks in this series. He is 0 for 5. First one is there. You go ahead.
It would be awfully nice for a ground ball here to turn into 2. 7th inning.
Yeah, it's brought to you by IDOT Roadway Safety. It's not a game. Thanks for the setup.
It's still
not a game.
Still brought to you.
It is.
IDOT.
You're going to say the whole thing with still in front of it, or?
I am not.
Okay. You just did though.
I was stuck.
0-2 for Kepler. Jeffers at first. Little tapper third base side. Hanser on the charge. On the throw. Safe the call at first base.
Kepler runs pretty well, and Charlie wants him to take a look at it. Looked to me like he was safe at first. Let's see. Very close, but I think he beat it. This is a good play by Alberto. It's really close again, but Santos believes he's out at first.
Sox won't challenge. It looked like he just beat the throw. So there's a bunt jabbed foul by Polanco.
You know, and there's an interesting bunt because you want to get the bunt down and moved up the runners. There's no sense trying to vacate the box. Hang around, get the bunt down, make sure that Alberto has to field it, and the sacrifice accomplished. That time he was pulling off, and there's no reason to think about bunting for a base hit.
One ball, one strike. You know, this is again a situation where the Twins have the advantage lefty-righty, and the next two batters, though very dangerous, are both right-handed hitters. There's a bunt in front of the plate. Santos falls. So it works out as a base for Minnesota, and they're loaded.
It does go as a base hit, only an unfortunate one. Gregory comes in, and unfortunately his feet go out from under him. I mean, he was falling before he got close to the baseball, and it loads him up with nobody out.
And it's Carlos Correa at the plate.
If this goes first, third, or back to Santos, they're coming home with it.
Would love a 1-2-3 here. That's inside. It almost hit the two-time All-Star Correa.
We're with the bases loaded at 275.
Big chopper to shortstop. Tim, a low catch, throw to the plate, and he cuts down the lead runner. Jeffers is out, and now you're a double play away.
Boy, that's a big play on both ends. Tim made a nice play, aggressively getting it, and then Yaz scooped it out of the dirt. We'll watch it again. A little tapper in the infield. Tim has to come get it. Makes the throw. It's in the dirt, and he's on the plate, and he gets him at the plate. Jeffers is out, and one out.
Yeah, that is a really nice catch by Yaz.
Nice effort on both sides of the equation.
Byron Buxton breaks his bat. Barehand tries Santos to the plate, and he does have a second straight out right back at home.
6 through, 6-2, 1-2. And both outs at the plate, both outs, a force out. Gregory knocks it down with his hand and has a presence of mind to just relax. He knows he's got some time. If this gets by, it's not going to be a double play, not with the speed of Buxton. So two guys cut down at the plate. And now they want to check on the throwing hand of Gregory Santos. Good play. Two very good plays in a row by the Sox infield.
They'll let him test it out and watch a couple of warm-up tosses.
The ball wasn't hit all that hard, and I think Gregory is going to be okay.
He's had two, honestly, they might want to check on. He slipped on the first play.
I know. And meanwhile, knocked that one down with his pitching hand. So now one out away from getting out of a really difficult jam here in the 7th inning.
3 strikeouts tonight for Trevor Larnach against Dylan Cease. Sox won't see the Twins until the 3rd week of July. after tomorrow. Middle game of 3 tonight. Sox won yesterday. In the air, left field by Larnach. Hooking and arching, and this ball ends up as strike 2.
So if you're Yaz and you're calling a slider here, you got to make sure that you eat this ball before it gets by you. Fans on their feet. They want a big third out.
2 strikes. Up and out. So did Gregory, I think, there.
Lean back a little bit to get 100.
One ball, 2 strikes. Inside a slider, 2-2. Up and away. Now it's got to be a strike of some kind.
Well, the disadvantage is that the runners are going to be going, so the force out most likely is out of the equation.
Larnach is the Twins leader in strikeouts and walks. He's on the edge of both, and he gets a piece of a pretty close slider.
Ruined his bat. Have to go back and get another one. There's the slider. It's a strike. Just barely catching it off the end of the bat and staying alive. And as you can see, he's left with a, well, not much of a bat left.
Some sharp edges on the last one. And on this series as well. 3 balls, 2 strikes. Bases loaded, 2 down. Another one pumped foul. Middle slider.
This is yet another tense ball game between these two teams.
Three and 2. Struck him out. Bases loaded, nobody out, and Santos with sorcery.
He gets the Houdini Award. Good play by Tim. Good play by Yaz on the pick. That's the first out. Knocked down with the pitching hand. That's the second out. And then at 3 and 2, 3 sliders in the row. We got a new pitcher in the ball game for the Twins after a miraculous top of the 7th. Griffin Jacks comes on to face the top of the order.
It's Tim Anderson who takes a first pitch and a strike.
It's liable to be the only fastball that Tim sees as Jacks on for the 15th time. Just about 3.5 on the ERA. A lot of strikeouts, 15, only 3 walks, and he loves the slider, which they call a sweeper.
Guess what? Base hit to right. He's been on base 4 times.
This is what the Sox really missed when Tim was not active. Just a guy who can reach up, inside out swing, take it to right field. I mean, he is a master at that.
Three hits and a walk, an RBI, a run scored. Here's Benintendi, who bunts it foul. Time for a player resume presented by Indeed. It's Andrew Benintendi, who had the game winner yesterday on the walk-off. He won the Golden Spikes Award in college. He was an all-star last year, a Gold Glover 2 seasons ago. Tim shuffles off first. He was leaning. He is out. His last step before the throw was towards second base, and he's out.
We'll watch it again. You see the lean. Can't quite get back enough, and there's the tag. Quick move by Jacks. And he's got him.
There's a bunt anyway. Third base side. Miranda charges, bare hands, and throws. That's going to be late. Benintendi has a bunt single.
You know, it's really strange. Andrew saw that on the pitch before because he saw Miranda back. Now, after faking a bunt and not being able to get it down, Miranda not in your picture. And Andrew says, well, if you're going to play me back, I'll be more than happy to take a base hit. He's got good enough speed to beat it by plenty, and Solano able to knock it down. So that's 2 straight hits. Andrew representing the go-ahead run.
This is another one of those innings, this homestand, as that looked maybe a little high, where if you're showing somebody baseball for the first time and they turn to you and they say, does this happen a lot? The answer is no. Bases loaded, nobody out, no runs.
Doesn't happen a lot.
And then a leadoff single, pickoff, bunt single next. And now 1-1 for Andrew Vaughn. Griffin Jack's dad, a former NFL linebacker. We've talked about Griffin and his time in the Air Force in the past. 2-1.
Right now, Jax doesn't have that real good slider or sweeper, as they call it. Let's see if the Sox can take advantage of some problems with Jax just coming out of the pen.
2-1. That's up high. It's 3 balls and a strike.
Normally his control is right there. I mean, he comes out of the bullpen throwing slider after slider and usually throws them just about where he wants to. Tonight, the exception. Sox will have the opportunity.
3-1. Will it be something hittable for Andrew Vaughn? It was not. It's ball 4. 2 on, 1 out for Eloy Jimenez. Everything's up too.
Yeah, I mean, this is not the guy that we've seen most of this year. He's been a very serviceable reliever with excellent control. Sox will have their shot at him.
Eloy homered last night. He singled and scored in the first tonight. Change up low. Into left field. It is down. Here comes Benintendi. The Sox have the lead late once again on the Twins.
Right man, right spot, right time for Eloy Jimenez, who's starting to get hot. His second hit of the night, his first run batted in. There's one of those high cutters. That ball stayed up. Jax has thrown everything up, and Eloy takes advantage of it, dumping it into left center field. So 3 hits and a walk. Only the pickoff has allowed Jax to record an out in this inning, and the Sox go on top.
And a meeting now at the mound. Jeffers goes walking out to talk to Jax. Minnesota right now is ruining that top of the 7th in a big way.
What a job of pitching and defense by the Sox inner defense and Gregory Santos. Giovanni Moran throwing in the pen. Decided not to use a hat tonight.
Assuming he'll make a different choice when he comes in the game.
I would think so.
Here's Luis Robert Jr. 2 on, 1 out off that pickoff you were talking about. First one is inside. Fastball bearing inside, 1-1. Tapper back to the mound. Jacks to second. He gets it out there. The step through, safe.
Luis is feeling pretty good because this is a tough one to beat out. It's right back at Jacks, who's a very good athlete. Polanco on the throw, but he doesn't get it there in time, and the inning stays alive. This could turn into another run. Sees it there, beats the play. Still not 100%.
No sign yet of Rocco Baldelli. With Moran, the left-hander, warming up. Gavin Sheets will get to go lefty-righty. High in the air, just on the outskirts of the infield, and Correa makes the catch. But the Sox get a run and the lead and dash into the clubhouse. And Gregory Santos, what a performance.
This was an outstanding effort, getting out of a bases loaded, nobody out jam. The Twins come up empty, but not without some drama. Knocking it down with his pitching hand, getting it to the plate, and then a long at bat ends with a strikeout. And Kendall Graveman comes into this one. Out for the 13th time, his ERA of 5.5.
He'll face Solano and Miranda and Castro as Hazley's come in defensively for Sheets. A strike. Graveman had made 5 straight appearances against Tampa Bay.
That's a lot.
Yeah, now another team. Now here's that spot in the order where Rocco Baldelli brought in the right-handers.
Well, the irony is that Kendall Graveman hasn't given up anything to left-handers this year.
There are all those Rays appearances. This is grounded to shortstop. Tim reaches for it and throws, and there's out number 1.
Sox fans, you can show your team pride with the White Sox checking, an official White Sox debit card, only available at your local Wintrust Community Bank. Wintrust.com/Sox. One up, one out.
These next 2 batters are very important for a couple reasons. Number 1, you want to get the outs, but number 2, if you could force the top of the order to bat second in the 9th instead of first in the 9th, that would be good, as Graveman gets a benefit there. Strike 2.
And one of the things for Phil Cuzzi tonight, he has been consistent up. Those pitches that are just up out of the zone, they've been strikes all night. They were strikes early, they're strikes late.
See if Kendall can wipe out Miranda on 3. Yes, sir. 2 down.
After a pinpoint slider, he just takes him down with some high heat. Up and out of the zone, the Twins have been very aggressive, swinging at pitches well out of the zone, and Miranda no exception.
The Vasquez swing in the 10th inning last night was very similar.
Yeah, well, I think that pretty much turned around the inning. That was the difference between 2 on and nobody out, and 1 on and 1 out.
That is how tight this series has been this year.
And the bullpen up and going. Lopez and Moran.
Lopez gave up the home run to Eloy last night. This to short. Yeah, that's not getting past Tim Anderson.
Big effort by Tim, who's had a really good night both with the bat and the glove. Here he spears it into the inning. 3 outs to go. A new pitcher in the ball game. It is Giovanni Moran, who's been, well, touched up a bit. Control has not been there. 11 2/3. He's walked 9. ERA over 6. And there you see the numbers as the Sox look for an insurance run as it's getting late.
Sox will have Grandal, Alberto, and Andrews coming up in the 8th. Minnesota's going to have 9, 1, and 2. Jeffers, Kepler, and Polanco, then Correa in the 9th. First pitch swing, that drops in, base hit. Let's go to the studio, see what's coming up on Subaru White Sox Postgame Live. It's Chuck, it's Ozzie, it's Frank.
All right, another close game between the White Sox and Twins. What are your thoughts right now as you're warming up your hands?
Just relax. It's been a great ball game. Yeah. Both starting pitchers did okay, but White Sox has found a way late, and now they're bringing in Billy Hamilton to try to steal another run.
That's another run. They need this one.
Yeah.
They need this one.
We don't even know who's going to pitch the 9th. Who do you think goes in the 9th for the White Sox?
Middleton.
Middleton.
Bobby Jenks.
Bobby Jenks coming in to pitch the 9th. How about that? Breaking news. Back to you guys.
How about that, Bobby Jenks? Ozzie, will you make the call if it's Bobby Jenks?
You got that right.
I got to say, somebody in there was right. If it looks like who's going to pitch the 9th.
Yeah.
Looks like it is Keenan Middleton. There's a bunt back to the mound. Moran to first. So there you see Keenan Middleton, who was just outstanding yesterday.
And hopefully more of the same. Middleton's been throwing real well. Santos has been throwing unbelievably well. Those two guys have really held down the pen, and now Middleton will have an opportunity to pick up a save.
Or the Sox could score like 4 runs here.
That would be nice also. That would be preferable.
Here's Elvis, who walked in his second trip to the plate, and now Billy Hamilton scurries back and boxes out Jorge Polanco.
Well, Polanco knows he's got to really keep a close eye on him because Billy, like most base stealers, loves to steal third base.
He was trying to get that second disengagement. Instead, he got a skyscraping ball 1.
Well, that's what Billy can do. He can divert your attention so that you're thinking a whole lot about him and not near as much about Elvis.
Big lead, enormous lead. Now he shuffles back, trying to draw the attention of Moran, and he did again. It's 2-0.
Yeah, he's missed badly twice.
Billy walking off the bag. Elvis was taking all the way at strike 1. There's Hamilton's lead again. 2-1. Check swing and a strike. A changeup, 2-2. Tim Anderson's next. He has been on base all 4 times.
Yeah, I'm thinking they put him on, and if you keep Moran in there, you go lefty-lefty with Benintendi.
There goes Hamilton. On the ground, up the middle, towards second base. Throw coming to first. Hamilton's coming home. It is a mad dash and a helmetless one for run number 6.
He was coming home as soon as he knew where that ball was hit. If that throw went to first base, there was no way the Twins were going to throw him out at the plate. What a weapon Billy Hamilton is. He's going on the pitch. Now he knows where the ball is hit. He takes a look back and says, I can score on this. Good pick at first, but no chance for Solano, who just came in the game late to make that play. And Billy Hamilton scores an all-important insurance run with flat-out speed.
And that's going to be a pitch timer violation against Moran. Things have gotten a little unhinged for Minnesota, and Billy Hamilton's speed did it.
Terrific base running, and that's why you keep him on the ball club. He was called up. He's added life to the team, and 2 nights in a row, his speed has shown up.
And Pedro has had a perfect opportunity to use him both nights, and did. And I bet you if Correa fields that ball instead of Polanco, he gives a look toward third base.
I think that's the run that really hurts you. So that's the one you got to look at.
On a changeup in the air, right center field for TA, and that is his first out of the night. But Billy feels like we should be at a beach celebrating that.
Very exciting so far, and Keenan Middleton comes out for the 11th time. He's looking for save number 1. This is his first opportunity, and an ERA of 3 1/4.
He's got 13 career saves. His last one, as there's a slider for a called strike, his last one was May of 2021. Seby Zavala is the catcher now for the Sox.
So you mentioned it at the time, and it bears repeating. Rocco Baldelli went to the right-handers, took out Gallo, took out Gordon. That came in the 6th inning. It was a ground out and a strikeout. Okay, it doesn't get it done then, but that wasn't what you were looking ahead to. You're looking ahead to a bullpen full of right-hand pitchers and no left-handers to face him. Next time they face Solano and they face Miranda, it was ground out and strikeout before Castro, who was a switch hitter, hit the ball very hard, but Tim made a good play.
And you're left with 3 outs to get for the Sox bullpen. Make that 2 outs to get for the Sox bullpen. The White Sox charity Sox car raffle is back. Enter to win a 2023 Mazda CX-5 Select, courtesy of Mazda of Orland Park. Buy your raffle tickets online by visiting whitesox.com/SoxCar.
There's your rainbow cone.
You know what? I would love that right now.
There you go.
I would love it. Maybe a napkin or 2, mix it in as well. As there's a swing and a miss on a changeup for strike 1.
Missed by much, but no piece of the zone.
One ball, 1 strike. Swing and a miss. Slider.
High sliders to left-handers are a good pitch. They might look like a mistake. They're really not, because left-handers have a hard time going up and getting it. Most of them have that uppercut swing, especially if they're home run hitters.
Strike 3. Middleton very rapidly takes care of 2.
2 up, 2 strikeouts, 1 out to go. High change, very effective. There you see the grip. Little movement late. You see it moving away from Kepler, and then you see Kepler moving away from the plate.
Two down. Ball 1 to Polanco, and you'd rather see Correa tomorrow.
No doubt about that.
Yep, strike 1. Baseball takes some hard turns over the course of a season.
It does that, and the best thing about it is, going into tonight, there was 132 left.
Just outside. Two one. Yeah, he did. I think he did.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, he did.
Local product, Dan Bellino, says yes, indeed. That's his look. I went too far.
One more strike. Time called. Now there's no throw to first very much anymore, so now timeouts are getting booed. Pedro on the edge of his position. 2-2 from Middleton. In the air and foul. We know that things change with 2 strikes and 2 outs, so until that final strike happens, we wait.
We wait and we pray.
And whatever else you're going to do.
And we take a picture occasionally.
2-2 is inside and low. 3 balls, 2 strikes.
Yeah, you get Correa and Buxton that are waiting there. You just, you're 2 runs up, throw it down the middle. Let's see how far Polanco can hit it.
3-2. Not that far. It's foul.
Good changeup. Shows you the confidence that Middleton has on that change.
Three and 2. Set up outside. In the air and foul again. One more payoff. Just a small piece, like barely got a piece. Barely made a sound.
No, this is a really good battle.
Three and 2 again. He just Tasmanian deviled himself.
He swung himself out of the batter's box, almost into the on-deck circle. Able just barely to get a piece, and then, oh, good balance. He's able to stay on his feet somehow.
Pitch number 11. Inside, ball 4. Tying run will come to the plate.
It's never easy. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter how many guys on, how many runs up. Out number 27 is a difficult out to get.
That happened in New York this evening as well, with Cleveland up late. The Guardians saw the lead go away, and New York walked them off at Yankee Stadium. Sox are hoping to end these festivities with this batter. It's low, ball 1. A full-scale verbal revolt from the crowd. Up back of home. 1 ball, 1 strike. Check swing. Yes. 1 and 2.
Will he get it from the side? Mark Ripperger said he went too far. He says no, but there's the deciding vote.
1-2. Swing and a miss. The Sox do it again. It's 3 in a row now. 6-4 tonight.
First series win of the year for the Sox. They won their first time 2 in a row last night. First series win tonight. 1 more to go here. And 7 games in back of these Twins. We'll go pitch by pitch to Carlos Correa. Representing the tying run, Middleton. Misses with a slider. Correa fouls it back. That one, yes, he went too far. And that one is well off the outside corner for strike 3. Big save, big game.